Hi, as you can tell, I am shooting this from a slightly different location. I'm still in my office, but I've got my motivation board behind me. I decided just to change things up a little bit, and I think I've mentioned in other videos that I have a webcam put on top of the monitor. However, when we redid my office, we didn't bracket it down like we had done before. So I decided to swing it over and be in front of the board and sit in my little director's chair to do this video. Just a little something different. Back in November, end of November, I did a video where I talked about trying to find peace. The election season just drove me nuts. I was really depressed and upset about all kinds of things, and I was blocking people left and right, or muting them, and going on LinkedIn and Facebook and even Twitter, and basically just trying to eliminate a lot of stuff from my life. And I have found a little bit more peace, even though my life has gotten a little bit more hectic since we had to move my mother into the house. But it's an interesting thing. I did a blog post a couple weeks ago on one of my blogs where I basically said that even if you're not on social media, you're probably on social media without knowing it, because you can't control the actions of everybody else. I mean, my wife, for instance, she doesn't have a social media account. She is pretty much nowhere, or so you would think. When she was working down in Texas, the doctor she was working for, who had known her up in this area, decided to create an account for her, and he put it up there. So people found her. Even though there was no picture, they kind of knew what she did, and so they found her. And she was stunned by that. And then a few years ago at a party at a friend's house, he took this picture, he put it up on Facebook. And you can kind of see her on the end trying to get away from it, but she's in the picture. And it's on Facebook. And I've put her on Facebook a couple of times. I never mention her name, but other people mention her name. Because a lot of people know who she is. So you're probably on some kind of social media, whether you like it or not. Well, one of the things that I have found, which is quite interesting, is that even though I have reduced how much news I'm seeing and how much I'm hearing, you know what? I still hear a lot. I hear a lot more than I really want to, but I still hear a lot. So I keep hearing about things that man in Washington has been doing, and I don't like any of it. But this is not talking about him. It's talking about the fact that you just can't block news. I have heard about some disasters. I've heard about people getting killed. I've heard about protests. I hear about a lot of things. Not as much as I was before, but I still hear it all. And, it's another one of those realizations where it says if you're going to be on social media, you're probably going to see stuff. For instance, on Facebook, I use an app. I use Firefox, and I use an app or a plug-in or an add-on, whatever term you want to use, called FB Purity. And you can go to fbpurity.com and you can download it. They've got it for Chrome as well. And you can set all this stuff up on Facebook so that you don't see tons of stuff. For instance, you can put in all the names you want to that you don't want to see. You can put in Bible chapters and all this stuff, and you'll never see it as long as it's words. Because it turns out that it only works on words. It doesn't work on images. And the only choice you have pretty much with FB Purity is to either see the images or block all images. Well, what fun is that if you block all images? you know, and that's a strange thing, because now, I have to sit there and say, okay, how do I weigh this? The only thing I could possibly do is decide to block more people, but the people who I have left are the people whose stuff I want to see. And most of the time, it's not political, it's not religious, it's not controversial, but every once in a while it is. You just can't block everything. Um, LinkedIn, which is supposed to be a site about business, it ain't about business anymore. It just isn't. Maybe there's someone doing business, but every time I go over there, all I see is all this news stuff about this going on or this going on or all this other kind of stuff I really don't really care about. Twitter, I have drastically reduced the people who I follow closely on Twitter, but I'm still connected to, at least 1,400 people, and I have, like 4,600 who are following me. And sometimes you see their stuff, or they will respond to stuff that you put out there. And they put out the news. There's just nothing you can do to totally eliminate it except to try not to be on social media. But you're on social media regardless. I find it an interesting conundrum. So, you know, I'm trying to make this decision. Um, I know that for now I'm going to keep going, the way I'm going because it's ridiculous to try to eliminate it anymore unless I go whole hog and just totally eliminate everything. Some years ago, a couple years ago, I think, I did a week off of social media. And I'm saying a week, it was 5 days. It was planned. And I was able to do it, but I didn't like it all that much. I really didn't. I find that if you treat social media right, social media can bring you a lot of enjoyment. And I like interacting with people. But it's just one of those kind of things where you say, okay, can you really block all news as long as you're on social media? Well, that answer is no. Do I want to block all news and not be on social media? Eh, I don't know. So I thought I would throw this out to you guys. How do you see social media? Do you see a lot of things you'd rather not? Do you think that maybe you shut everything down and you could get peaceful? Or do you recognize that, you know what, I'm just going to have to take the good with the bad and, eliminate as much stuff as possible? Or are you one of those people who really wants to see everything? Let me know. Let me know what you think. And that's my message for this week. It's not a teaching thing. It's just me kind of doing a vlog type of thing, if you will, talking about, you can't eliminate all news on social media. That's probably going to be the title, by the way. Anyway, I hope you have a good week, and I wish you peace and prosperity.